Welcome to the Fireside Chat on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network, brought to you by Run Try Bike. I am super excited, and I've been laughing for about 15 minutes now, so I'm not sure how much vocabulary you're going to get out of me today because my guests are a relay team that has participated in a Wild West relay since 2018. The company has, the employees together have. Not all of those that are on this episode have competed since then, but they all work together and participated in the Wild West relay for a number of years. This show is going to end up me being a word grenade tosser in there and then allowing the three of them to run with it. I'm going to be joined by Brock, Eric, and Marylee to discuss the Wild West relay, stories that they have to share, the humorous parts of it, the tough parts of it, the running parts, the team part, all of the above. Before I bring them on, please remember to subscribe, rate, review the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network on your favorite podcast platform. If you're using Spotify, please leave us a comment there as well, because it really does help us with the algorithms over there and getting our shows out to more ears so that we can bring great guests like the three of these folks that I have on today for this Fireside Chat. But we do have other shows as well, so make sure you check those out, from Food Fight Friday at the aid station to What's in Your Earbuds, to Beyond the Finish Line and more. Go check it out on the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network on your favorite podcast platform. So let's bring the team forward and let's have a fun and lively conversation. Marylee, Brock, and Eric, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you sharing your time with me.
Absolutely.
Glad you could have us.
So Brock, Eric told me before you joined that you are sort of the group leader behind David, and based on the headband and the map of the race course behind you, I'm going to assume that that is 100% accurate. Is that accurate?
David and myself have been doing it the longest. So we both participated in some form or fashion since 2018. Marylee is the other captain that helps us like plan and organize, because we do have two teams that participate in it now for the past few years. So there's actually three of us that kind of do all the heavy lifting. But yeah, David and I and Norm. Norm is another one that's been doing it since 2018, but Norm's also just strictly our driver. And in 2018, I was actually a driver. And then this race actually turned me into a runner by watching people do this race. So I've been running in it since 2019 because of this.
Is it two teams of 12? So do you have full 24-person teams? Oh, my goodness.
25 if you Selena. That's Norm's wife, who is our team mom, who makes us.
Who is very important.
Yes.
Yes. Get yourself a team mom for sure.
Okay, so Marylee, the way you said get yourself a team mom, what does the team mom do besides keep Brock in line?
Provides a midnight spaghetti dinner, like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. We are just, it's the best thing ever. All homemade. She comes up. Is it her mom or mother-in-law? She comes up with, and they service between 1 o'clock a.m. and
I don't know. I think she has like a connection with a band of Italian grandmas. Pop out of a closet at 1 in the morning and cook spaghetti and Italian food and feed us.
The Nonas show up with rolling pins and
very good.
And lots of flour and eggs to make the pasta. Is it really homemade pasta too?
Giant forearms and homemade pasta. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is there are not a lot of gels being carried by either of these two vans?
No. Not a single gel in sight. For us.
She has the Wild West. The first year that she actually did it, she showed up with spaghetti meatballs and all that, and I was like, I don't want to eat in the middle of this race. But Selena, being the mom that she is, she just handed me a plate of gigantic meatballs and spaghetti, and so I just had to eat it, and it was the best thing I've ever had in my life. So now I actually eat during the race. I used to not eat during the race.
Eric, I'm going to give this to you first because this is amazing to me. Like, your coworkers, the idea that you're then going to now spend not just working hours together, but something that's supposed to be fun for 48 hours or however long it takes as coworkers. Like, when they first asked you to participate, was your thought absolutely, or was your thought was, I got to spend more time with coworkers?
My story's weird, but if you get to know me, that's like very on brand for Eric. So I learned about this probably in 2019, when one of the folks from the team that I work on, we work for a very large company. It's 20,000 strong globally.
Oh, wow.
So when you say coworkers, I actually didn't know anybody but 1 or 2 people on the team of 24 before I showed up to jump in the second van to spend the next 36 hours with them. And likewise. So for me, it was an opportunity to get to meet new people through running, which is a very common story of like any sport, whether you swim or bike or run or whatever, right? But man, do you become friends quickly when you are locked in an 15 passenger van for the next 36 hours, and all your, unsavory characteristics come out pretty much immediately in said van over the next 36 hours. Like, do you agree on humor? Whoops. Now you know. So yeah, it was the first experience was pretty wild, and we're a good group. Like, we run outside of work together. I wasn't there on Saturday because I had another thing going on, but like we hosted a fun run on Saturday at work, and it's a great way to bring a group of strangers at a really big company together through something that's for a pretty good cause, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So Brock, you said you weren't a runner before this event, and it turned you into a runner. Like, again, hey, come join us for a 200-mile jaunt through the mountains. And you're like, yeah, sign me up. Like, what's the thought process there?
So in 2018, I was on the community investment committee for Nutrien that approved the sponsorship for the Matthews House. And they're like, hey, so we get a team. Why don't you run on a team with us? I was like, running to Steamboat? That sounds awful. Like, you guys are idiots. I believe in the cause, though, so I will drive the support van for everybody that's actually running. But watching everybody actually do the race, it was very inspiring and just impressive, especially on everybody's third legs when you see there's like, they're emptying out the last bit that they got in their tank just to get across the finish. So that fall, I actually started running, couldn't even run a mile, and then by 2019, I've been running ever since.
Man, that's awesome. And so, Marylee, how about you? When this idea is presented to you, and it's like, yeah, come join a team of 12 people that you're a coworker, but they might be a stranger to you completely, and 200 miles, and we're gonna go up over the mountain passes, and we're gonna do it in 36 hours. And you were like, sign me up. Like, what was that like?
So I actually was a swimmer growing up. I did our little local swim club. And one of the team members, he had told me about the race. I started with the company in 2018. So in July of 2018. So the race is in August. He told me that he went and ran this 200-mile race. And I was like, oh, running would be great. I could use that to stay in shape, keep up with life, that kind of thing. I was like, sign me up for next year. And they took my word for it. And I had not ran a mile, I don't think, ever in my entire life. And went out and ran 16 miles that year. So kind of like Brock's, just good cause and great way to stay in shape. It's easier to put on running shoes than go find a pool to swim in.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my excuse anyway.
But Marylee just had to take it up a notch though, because one thing she figured out, I think it would be the first year that she's done it where she hasn't been pregnant. But
what?
Not yet either. So
second year. Yeah.
So
a little backstory on me, and I kind of use it to recruit people. I ran the race.
I feel like you're always pregnant.
I have 4 kids. No, I ran the race in 2021, about 38 and a half weeks pregnant. I remember going into my doctor, and I was like, so I have this situation. It'll be my third year at that point running this race, and I've ran it, every year. Everything's great. And she's a runner by trade. She's like, yeah, it'll be fine. You just can't run that in the mountains. Like, I don't need you going into labor in like Wyoming or something. So I ran that virtually that year. And every time I got done running a leg, my teammates are like, you didn't go into labor yet? I went into the appointment the next week. My doctor's like, you didn't go into labor? I was like, no, I guess not. That was baby number 3 at that point. So I had been through the process before a time or two. And then again, I ran at 22 weeks pregnant the next year. And then last year I ran at 34 weeks pregnant. So
you have just removed.
So it can be done.
You've just removed every excuse anybody could ever have for not registering.
So listen, all you people with shin sprints. Exactly.
Seriously, no matter hangnail, register.
Splints, like, listen,
it just doesn't matter. If you can run, you can do
this.
Try growing a human brain and running this.
When you guys are organizing your team, are you looking at strengths and weaknesses? Brock, I'll put this on you since you're the one who's been around the longest. Are you looking at the strengths and weakness? And so for a person like Marylee, when they're like, look, we don't want, the doctor's like, you can't just run up mountains. Are you like scheduling her to run legs that don't involve massive amounts of climbing and things like that then?
We actually have a system that we started pretty much since the get-go, where we just ask everybody to look at the leg maps and pick their 4 favorite position that they preferred positions, and rank them. And it may seem like we're like at 4, but when you're trying to do 24 runners through 2 teams, we have gotten to the point where there's some people where they get their fourth preference, right? So we try to give people what they prefer, and then obviously, when Marylee's pregnant, she's like, I need a short one, or I need an easy one. Or last year she did one where the leg did end at your house or start.
Yeah. Ended at my house. My first leg. It was nice.
That way, she could do one of her last year, and then the other 2 were virtual.
I mean, it's awesome if you can get it. So, but outside of the Nona making you pasta at midnight, 1 a.m., Eric, I'll put this in your lap first. Like, what's the food situation in the van? Is it just coolers? Like, how is food being set up there? So as teams who are looking for, is that a beer, Brock? Is people who are looking to register for this event have some idea of like how to get food set up, hydration set up? What's it like for you guys in your van? That's for you, Eric.
So we have, like, you mentioned the Nona thing, like that's key. Our van drivers are, our van drivers are phenomenal. They fully stock cooler, water, Gatorade. If you're into the gels thing, they've got that. If you need Skittles, licorice, gummy bears, whatever your running vice is, they hook us up. If you need some liquid encouragement, there's probably some Fireball in the bottom of one of them. Like, they make sure that we have all the motivation and fuel that we need, whatever that might be for the folks there. The van I ride in is pretty nice because we stop at Woods Landing, just over the border into Wyoming. And there's like a bar and grill there. So there's like little snackies that you can get there to get like your salt fix for some fries and stuff like that. So we're really well set up when you ride in the second van for the Wild West Relay. I've never ridden in the first set, like the van 1. So I can't really speak for that, but all of our van drivers are angels. They stay up for 36 hours and drive through the backcountry essentially. And they make sure we have everything that we need. And they have amazing attitudes. All of them have great attitudes, even when we're grumpy about, like, it's 95 degrees and I'm running up a really big hill right now and I'm not happy about my life choices at the moment. And they're so supportive and positive and make sure we have what we need. I remember last year, somebody ran out with like an iced handkerchief to throw around people's necks. Like, that's the level of support that we get. So it's pretty cool.
Marylee, funny Eric says support because we actually we call them runner support, like in all of our documentation and emails and stuff. Like we got 12 runners and we got, 2 runner support. So, because they do it all.
So how does this work with the van? So, a runner presumably at the fastest is running a 6-minute mile, and at the slowest you're, 20 to 30 minutes, presumably. So is the van just like
We're not
cruising?
that fast.
I had to make it really extensive in there, from 6 minutes to 30 minutes, so people can understand. Is the van like plodding along with you, or does it drive to a certain spot and wait for the runner to catch up? Like, how is that, those logistics working?
So I think for the most part, the van drivers do pull ahead. There's certain pull off points. There are certain points along the map where they can't stop safely, so they just have to keep going. But I think if there's a safe spot for them to pull over,
6 US minutes.
Yes. But if there's a safe spot for the van to pull over, they will kind of wait and cheer you on at that point. So it's kind of nice. We have some in each of the vans. We have a bike wheel that has the bells on it, so we get kind of excited and loud at times. Obviously not during the night when we're close to like Woods Landing or something, but in the middle of nowhere, it's not a bad idea. So.
No, headlamps and party time happening at that point, I'm sure. So,
yep.
Brock, I'm
all the safety.
Yes. So do you guys have to wear vests while you're running on the streets as well, on the roads?
Yep. From dusk till sunrise. So.
Yeah.
And on 14 when you're getting into Steamboat.
Yeah.
That's right.
So just because the highway is so busy.
Yeah.
We're reflective gear even during the day.
Yeah, I paced and crewed at Badwater a few years ago, and you're always in reflective gear of some sort just to make sure that cars can see you when they're coming. So now, Brock, I'm going to come to you because look, we're running for 36 hours. At some point, we're going to stink. So give us the lowdown on how you guys battle the stench of 6, 8, 10 runners in a van as you're moving along. Is it like, man, crank down the windows even though it's 90 degrees out? Like, how are you combating this?
Well, in 2018, it's funny, we actually called our van that I was the driver of the Smelly Man van, because we only had one girl in that van that year. Amanda, who was actually a driver for us this year. Oh wait, no, she had to.
They scarred her.
Yeah. But either way, but she came back and she ran again. So yeah, we called it the Smelly Man van, and you'd really just kind of deal with it. You can actually shower in Walden, even if you don't do what we do, because we actually get an Airbnb. But they have showers available at Walden High School, so you can rent a shower, and a lot of people do that. I don't, because I'm part of the no showers for female crew. I'm like, you have to earn that shower. You can't do it. So just roll down the windows, drive a little faster.
Eric, are you
really have a van driver on here? They would give you their secrets.
Oh yeah, so it's interesting that you guys have like a designated van driver and they're not running with you. Was that done on purpose? Did somebody give you that tip back in 2018 to have a designated van driver? How did that come about?
I don't know if it was in the initial handbook that Paul created. It's just something I know we've always done. And part of it's because when you do a 12-person team, you need to have 6-person vehicles. And to have a 6-person vehicle, you're going to need to have a larger van that can accommodate the extra driver. Now, there are ultra teams that will do 6 people. And since they have one person on the course the whole time, they just have a 5-person vehicle. And they just do it like in SUVs and stuff. So, yeah, I think most 12-person team, a lot of the 12-person teams will have drivers. I just don't think everyone does though. We're fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, for you, does having a 12-person team, is there an advantage for you in that? Because you get to hang out with people and kind of get to connect with them a little bit more than just constantly running if it was like a 3 or 4-person team?
I'm surprised Brock isn't laughing. So I'm an idiot.
Yes.
So the 12, I'll answer your first question and then I'll like the rest of the story. The 12-person thing is nice. It does give you a break in between where you can't hang out. Like Woodsland, like second van is where it's at, in my very strong opinion. To hang out at that bar and grill in Woods Landing, you shake your head if you want. It's really nice. Like there's a stream there. You can hang out. It's nice and quiet. You can kind of recharge or whatever. However, because I'm a glutton for punishment, and as I've said many a time, I like to party, I committed that if I raised over a certain threshold of money, because I think this is a good cause and I find it very fun to raise money for good causes, that I would run twice the number of legs this year. So instead of running 3 legs, I'm going to run 6 legs because I did exceed my fundraising goal that I set, which means I didn't set a high enough fundraising goal is what that actually means. So anyways, I'm basically going to do my own little ultra team this year on my own and run double legs. In the past, I've been guilty of running bonus legs because I thought it would be cool if I ran over Rabbit Ears Pass. And come to find out that Routt County just had pulled down the sign for Rabbit Ears Pass. So instead of running 30 yards, I ran an entire extra leg my first year looking for the sign like a dope. This is a true story. You can't make up this level of stupidity. So I just run the whole extra leg. And Brock rolls by in the other van's like, the sign used to be right there. You just had to like walk. And you could have. Anyways, so using that as my, less thinking, more doing, and wanting to raise more money for a good cause, I'm going to do that this year. Brock and Marylee might not know that yet. This might be news to them. This was a little bit of an inside deal with a couple other guys on the team that I'm a little bit closer with day to day. But yeah, I'll be running, I don't know, it'll be close to a marathon in 36 hours. So
yeah, I did see
looking
that
forward to that.
I did see that on your fundraising page. So I was wondering if you hit that goal or not.
I did. I hit it incredibly quickly, Brock.
That first year when Eric did that and I came walking up to him like, dude, you only had to go 30 yards, not, a whole nother leg. I got the most aggressive go fuck yourself I've ever in my life. I pointed out, he sprawled out on his back in the dirt, and I'm just like laughing, and I'm like, normally you should be angry when someone tells you to go fuck yourself, but not then. And that was so felt very heartfelt. Like
and now Brock knows it's my love language of running is when there's expletives. I'm enjoying myself.
100%. Marylee, if somebody came to you and said, all right, tell me the funniest thing that has happened while you were participating in the Wild West Relay, what's your answer?
Oh, man. So I'm in van 1, and according to these two, it's the less fun van. But we have a runner. He's running up Dead Man's Pass. And I just remember Norm, our van driver, just getting out, stopping, getting out, going up to our runner. Luigi is his name. And he's like, this sucks. He's just trudging up the switchbacks there. Just, this sucks. This sucks. Why am I doing this? Sucks. So, and that was, 6 years ago. From that point, it has been, we see Luigi and it's, this sucks. This sucks. So it just sticks. Everything just, the jokes, the insiders, the one-liners that come out of this race, they just stick with you forever.
Yeah. Luigi's been saying this is stupid since 2018, the first year, because he actually had, he was position 7, so he had to run out of Woods Landing. And that year, it's the first year I heard him say it. First, like,
I wasn't on the team that year.
I don't need my bear bell or my water, and he actually threw it at me in the van as he's running by. And then later on, he's like, I got really thirsty, and I wish I had that bell because I got scared. So Luigi's
if I can chime in, because I also run that leg. So listen, if you're a first timer with the Wild West Relay and you get the opportunity to run position 7, by golly, you sign right up for position 7 because not only is I think it's the hardest position, I think I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I'm pretty sure it's like the most elevation. It's not easy. Running out of Woods Landing is a pain in the dick. It's like 8.8 miles all uphill and a plateau finish, so there's no downhill anything. Now, on the bright side, it is beautiful. It is probably 1 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, depending on the pace of your team. It is pitch black out there. I will shut off my headlamp for a little bit, only a little bit, because I'm also terrified like Luigi, and I'm not smart enough to run with a bear bell on that road. Which there's like Bambi's in the woods prancing around, but you're convinced it is a gray wolf that's going to rip your freaking face off. So you run faster situationally, but it's so beautiful because like usually it's a nice clear night that time of year in early August if we're lucky, and like that's been some of the most beautiful running. It's nice and cool, even though it is definitely a sufferfest, but that is by far the coolest leg. And then you almost get a run up over Rabbit Ears Pass. You just have to run an extra 30-40 yards for your third leg. So position 7 is where it's at, in my very strong but humble opinion.
So 8.8 miles uphill from the get-go, plateau finish, no gravity assistance whatsoever. But are you also getting to see the sunrise over those 8.8 miles if you're around starting at 1:30?
If my teammates would run slower, I'd get to see the sunrise.
Well, I think you would have to run slower because if you're starting at 1:30 and you want to see the sunrise, it better take you 5 hours to go those 8 miles.
That's a good point. He's got you there. Slow down, have a beer, take a nap if you need to. Do what you got to do out there.
Yeah, this is my fault. This is
always,
my fault.
Always. All right. So I asked this of the team I had from Relay Iowa on our show last week. And look, we're all runners. We've all had to use the bathroom at some point. But, now we're in a team of 12. We have 2 vans. Like controlling yourself from farting in the middle of the van. Like, what's this situation like? Like, hey, pull over because I got to go dump in the woods right now. Is it free for all conversation, or are people trying to be polite about this stuff? Brock's thinking because he's saying to himself, "Yeah, I'm just opening my mouth."
Yeah, I don't do exchange there's porta potties. So you usually I haven't heard of anyone having to pull over. And actually, it's also in the rule book saying you're not supposed to.
Okay.
Because we are on public highways and public roads, or we're going through private property as well. So they're very adamant about not doing that. That's why they put porta potties at every exchange. So there could be a toilet as close as 2 miles from you, right?
Yeah.
I learned a trick from Luigi in 2018. I thought it was really funny, but he made it a point to try and use a porta potty at every exchange we stopped at. And I was like, why? And then hearing the stories about if you run, eventually you will poop yourself. Doesn't matter. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Like if you're a runner long enough, sooner or later you will shit your pants while you're in the middle of a run. So hearing those stories in the van in 2018, I was like, why would you guys want to run? You're in danger.
Why wouldn't you?
That's a tip I picked up from Luigi. So during these relay races, I try, even if I don't necessarily think I have to, just to make sure the tank is empty. And it's another reason why I don't eat during the race.
What?
Yeah, except for when Selena started making us dinner, I'm like, I can't not eat. So I gorge myself in Walden. But yeah, for the first 24 hours, I have a pork chop in a can after each leg, and that's my fuel.
Marylee, you shook your head like, no, I don't eat either. You don't eat either?
No, I eat.
Oh, okay.
I am snacking. I get hangry very easily.
Yeah, me too. Like that van would get turned upside down.
It's better for my van.
I'm with you.
Although we in Van 1, actually one of our runners, Tara, she started bringing cold pizza on the relay race. And so now we've got about, 5 or 6 different large pizzas running around the 2 vans, and we eat those. And it's got your carbs, protein.
Yes.
It's got it all on there. So
this show is live.
Like Eric was too snooty for cold pizza from based off game.
You said cocktails were okay, so I got a shrimp cocktail. Okay, yeah. That's fine.
It's a little bit more snooty than cold pizza, but okay.
Yeah. We're not
Nobody wants to
judging.
smell cold pizza and sour feet and farts in a van. Like, let's.
How do you know the feet are sour, Eric? Are you licking people's feet?
We're doing this.
You can't tell me nobody's ever taken their shoes off in the van and their socks off in the van, and there's just like sweat foot.
Yes,
lingering.
I'm telling you, when we did Badwater, like, I mean, you're just sweating constantly, even if you're not running. And we had to put the shirts in the windows so that as we drove, like, we get that fresh air as outside, because that stuff, and socks too, because if that stuff just sat and fermented inside the van in 120, 30 degree weather, there's no way.
You made your own like DIY swamp nuts cooler.
You got it. I mean, we're not that smart to be running through Death Valley to begin with, but we were smart enough to put our clothes outside of the van for a moment. I want to mention that we are live, and so we are looking at putting a team together for RTB, and one of our team members who is registered, Val, has already said that she's in for position 7 to take on that 8.8 mile hike, which means I get to eat pizza while she's hiking, cold pizza, because I'm going to keep that as a tip while she's hiking 8.8 miles up that area. I want to know what it's like for you when you finish, because, you have this hype, you have this, hey, I can't wait to do this again. There's a lot of adrenaline and everything else. And then when you get to the finish line, I'm wondering if there's a lot of emotion, like, hey, we did this and we did it as a team and it was wonderful, but it's now over and we have to wait another year before we get to repeat this experience. So Marylee, I'll put it in your lap first. Is there some sort of, it's not buyer's remorse, but sort of like, man, I can't wait to come back again in a year from now to do this again, because this was so much fun?
I think, for the first 5 minutes, we're all super excited that we've crossed the finish line. Everyone's together. We've got both teams together, right? And then immediately we're starting, all right, for next year, this is what we've got a whole 5 minutes of celebration. And, just looking at how much money we've raised over the past year, we start raising money pretty early for this race, for our organization that we give our donations to. And then immediately I think it's that night we're sitting at the dinner table, just everyone talking, or in the hot tub, and we're just talking. We're like, all right, next year we're going to start doing this. We're going to change this. This went great. And I think that's what has made our two teams just execute almost on point for the last however many years, 7, 8 years.
Eric, for you, is it like the Breakfast Club? All these people come together and then you write the letter at the end of the movie, like, we're the geeks and we're the athletes and we're the loners, and but we're all together as a team, and then you disperse and Judd Nelson raises his fist as he walks past the field goal posts. I think Eric's on a time delay over there. The LA, Denver to Colorado, and I think he's in Utah. Time delay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is probably not cooperating very well for you right now, so I apologize if this is like a wicked delay.
Stay at a better hotel.
Let's do what?
Stay at a better hotel.
This one's haunted. Maybe that's the problem.
Oh, there you go.
Shout out to the haunted.
We have more than just us 4 on here.
Yeah.
Teams of Wild West Pass.
Yeah, they're trolling me right now on the internet with their leather shoes. Anyways, so I think I caught most of your question as you like sped talk on my laptop here. Being in the middle kind of stinks, to be honest with you, when you finish that leg, because it feels good to finish any run, whether it's just like you're out in the neighborhood or you're doing a half marathon or a triathlon or whatever you're doing, right? You get that kind of runner's high when you cross the line. Sorry, this is going to sound sentimental. I get really choked up when I finish like an event that I signed up for to this day still. Like I did one on Saturday. It was new for me. It was an off-road triathlon, but I still got choked up. Because you like did something that's hard.
Yeah.
The thing that I wish we could do is like a more of an exerted team effort at the end of Wild West Relay. We do walk, the end of it as a team when the last runner comes in. So there's like a little bit of that. But most of us are pretty rested. Some of us have even taken showers. So it's not quite the same. But when you finish the hard legs, Brock is not taking a shower. When you finish the hard legs of your run, right? It still feels pretty good. That one out of Woods Landing, like the first year that I finished it and last year when I finished it, like there was that endorphin flush that you get that most folks that do this, no matter how good or bad they are at running, when they finish something hard, everybody gets that. So you get it 3 times, sort of, kind of.
Brock, I get the feeling that you are the comedic relief for all the teams, not just your own and not just your partner team, but every team that participates in this event. How important is it for you to let people know it's okay to have fun out here? Like, this shit's hard. We might as well laugh while we're doing it.
I am very rarely serious in general. I even cracked jokes when I was standing at the altar during my wedding. It's
my guy.
I find crack jokes at probably the wrong time, just because I don't know. It's the easiest way to relieve the stress. And if you're not having fun and laughing, then what's the point?
Yep.
But I do also understand like the phrase "embrace the suck," like when you're in the middle of something, and just pushing through. But when you got a moment, sit back and look back, you're like, "Oh, that sucked," but I saw a bear crapping in the woods. That was pretty hilarious.
Is that true? Is that true?
No.
We've had a bear cross the runner before.
Yes, Cecilia. Yeah, she on her third leg. Bear ran in front of her while she's running.
And just kept on going?
What's that?
Did the bear just keep on going or like stare back at her? Okay.
No, it was a
bear was trying to set a PR too.
Yes. Meeting us in Steamboat.
Probably figured all the runners smelled too bad to eat, so he's leaving us all alone.
Which is your key why you don't shower, right? It's for bear prevention.
Survival mechanism.
Yes.
Dude, so I'll see you in 2026 because we'll have a team and I'm going to need you to just like help me understand how to crack the jokes in our van with our team, because it's going to be one of those moments where we just celebrate every leg and every run and just have fun with it all the way through.
I think you need to make sure that you remember to have fun with your safety as well. And I don't know if Brock probably saw this, Marylee, you might not have, but the first year I did it, we're starting out of Woods Landing and there's a dude, like, cause we were reflective, light up, flashy stuff at night. Cause you're on a fairly busy, highway. Like there's going to be 18 wheelers rolling by you in the other direction. There was a dude that took off in front of me that had a light up flesh dildo strapped to his back for safety.
Yes, so, of course.
There's so many ways that you can light
on his ass the whole time.
I didn't hear any of that, but I'm going to assume it was not directed at me.
You'll hear it in a few minutes when it finally catches up to you. You'll be all right.
Fantastic. Anyways, a lot of ways you can have fun at Wild West Relay.
I would imagine so. So Marylee, help me understand. Like, I absolutely adore Mandy. I've had such great conversations with her when it comes from an organizational standpoint, because I really want people to not only get a feel for the team and that aspect of running together, But as far as the organization of the event that Mandy and the Run Windsor team put on, like, could you give us some insight into what that's like for you as a runner? That, like, I don't have to ever worry about this because I know that they've got it taken care of, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with like the porta potties. I think that's been a huge help along the race, right? You're out there for 200 miles. We're all runners. So I think that's been just huge. The organization on the back, leading up to this race, there's monthly like meetings, Zoom calls, I guess, if you will. Those are so helpful, especially for those teams who are new or who have not done this race before. Just you get the veteran relay runners on there, and they're able to give you, the tips of, hey, bring your pizza, or bring, 3 changes of clothes, because you're going to want to change your clothes unless you're Brock. Just sitting in sweaty clothes all day, that not a great move. And I think Mandy, she just really is able to connect with, because she is a runner, so she's able to connect with what the runner needs are. There's, just small things along the relay race that you don't really think about. The volunteers who are bringing you into, that exchange, right? They're watching out for your safety, especially when it comes, I think safety is such a big thing. This race, crosses highways, as we stated, crosses highways, it goes overnight. And I don't think, other than a few bumps and bruises, there's been anyone who's been hurt badly in this race in the time that we've been doing it. So I think that says a lot to not just Mandy, but Paul prior to Mandy, who had the race, to their care for their runners and the race, and the route that we're taking as well, making sure the trash is picked up. And I think everyone's very mature and really wants to take care of this so we can keep doing it right. So
awesome. We're bumping up on time here, so I'm gonna ask one question, and I'll have each of you address it. So Brock, I'm gonna start with you first. One word to describe your experience at the Wild West Relay, and why that word.
Oh, one word, huh? Fan-fucking-tastic. Because everything about it is enjoyable, except for, when you're running out of Goose Landing and in the middle of the night. But even like Eric said, it may be hard what you're doing in the moment, but it's still beautiful. It's gorgeous night. So even when it's tough, it's worth it. There's camaraderie going on. Like everything about it's enjoyable. Like I said at the beginning, this is what actually this race is what got me into running. And at one of the like packet pickup events one time, Mandy actually said, why does everybody do this race? And my answer I do this race so that we can do this race, because if people don't do this race, they can't put it on.
That's awesome. That is a great statement right there, Brock. Like, honestly, if you love a race, register for it. And if you can't race it one year, volunteer at it so that it can continue to go on and people can experience the things that you've experienced. Eric, I'm going to throw it in your lap now. One word to describe the Wild West Relay, and why that word.
Thank you, Brock, for going first, so I had time to think about my answer. You guys already made fun of me for my shrimp cocktail, so I'm going to use a $5 word and say transformative.
I'm not laughing
Brock,
at the word. I'm
you can
laughing
Google
at the
that
$5.
if you need to. Yeah, so when we were talking before we started here, I was not a runner. And I think both Brock and Marylee kind of indicated that as well. I was not only not a runner, I was anti-runner. I kind of turned up my nose, like, why do you waste your time doing something that you don't like? And I was just out maybe 2 weeks ago. I was on a trail I've done a lot of times. Brock, you and I have done this run together on Spring Canyon, and it's a beautiful night. And I'm running, and I'm like not trying very hard, and I'm kind of running a fast pace for me. And I'm like, man, I am really enjoying myself. And I don't know why this is emotional. I was like, if I wouldn't have signed up for, and I signed up for some other stuff around Wild West Relay the first time I did it. It was part of a training program for a bigger event. But the camaraderie that came out of that, because before I did that group event, I was doing everything by myself. Like I'd go out run by myself. I did no group runs, no run clubs, nothing like that. Because of this event, it totally changed my outlook. Now, I still was angry with Brock, right?
Yeah, of course.
As he indicated earlier. But like totally changed my mentality around like running and endurance sports and stuff like that. I've gotten in significantly better shape since I think it was 2.5 years ago that I started running, getting ready for this. So like, I don't mean to overstate it, but for real, like this event, and it just happened to be this event. Maybe it could have been some other this type event, but this event happened to be extremely transformative, at least for me. I'm sure, and I hope other people have experienced that too, because it is a big experience.
Marylee, before you answer the question, Eric, I want to let you know that you and I are a lot alike. Like I get emotional at every finish line I ever come across. Like it just, because look, we're average Joes, right? We don't get paid to do this shit. We got to try to figure out how to fit it in and everything else. And so when you find that finish line, it's a huge fucking deal. It's a big ass accomplishment. And without a doubt, like people will be like, I never see you upset in race photos. And it's like, because I'm having fun, because I did something I didn't think I could do, and I'm going to have a blast with it. So I understand everything that you're saying and where it's coming from too. And Marylee, I'm going to give you a few more seconds. Val, who's been commenting on Instagram, in capital letters said, "Stop it. Oh my God. These are my people. I have finally found where I fit in life." I don't know when she typed that. I don't know if it was Brock's unshowered comment or Eric's emotional comment or Marylee talking about, spaghetti at the Airbnb at 1 a.m. But either way, combination of it all. And so thank you guys for that. So Marylee, I've given you enough time. I've filibustered enough for you to come up with a word that isn't fan-fucking-tastic or transformative. So what's your word and why?
I feel like my word's kind of boring compared to theirs, but memorable. So much so, Brock and Tara, they have tattoos for the sister race to this relay, but I've been pregnant, too many times. I haven't gotten my tattoo yet, but we have team members who, legitimately just go get tattoos on their, bodies in honor of this race or the sister race. And I don't know. I just think that it's amazing that people, we all come from different backgrounds and we're all brought together by this one race. And so much so we become so close that we want everyone to know about it. We want to just say, yeah, look at this tattoo. This is what I've got. And I don't know. That's my story.
But it says a lot about the connection between your teams and how close you get, that this idea that I'm going to get a tattoo, which is permanent, right? I've got a number of them. They're permanent, but I want to celebrate this moment that I've spent these last 36, 48 hours with these coworkers in a non-working environment. And we've come together, we've bonded, and we've created these memories that last a lifetime. And I think that's an important aspect of this conversation for anybody who's considering a relay, anybody who's wondering if a relay is for them. It's not just about the running. It almost feels like running is secondary to all the other things that come along with it. The people that you're running with and the hard that they're working through for you and you working through for them simultaneously. And I have to imagine it kind of just gets you off the grid for 36 to 48 hours, gets you away from the world and the heaviness of the world. And those of you who are listening to this episode, every one of them is shaking their head yes to that statement. And I think that's really important. By the way, I never asked you guys, do you guys have a team name for your teams?
Maverick and Goose, right?
Yeah, so our Nutrien runs for the Matthews House, Team Maverick, and Nutrien runs for the Matthews House, Team Goose. And those names came actually from the vans that the Matthews House have. They named their vans Maverick and Goose back in the day, and they would loan them out to us for the relay race. And so then we just adopted those as our team names.
That's damn cool. So when the new person shows up, how often are they saying, I've got the need for speed?
Nobody says that.
None of us are fast.
Nope.
It clearly
Listen,
tells you
this is
how
the
I would be on this
Everyman,
team.
Everyday Athlete podcast. We are
So,
not fast athletes. Athlete
yeah,
is a stretch for most of
we're
us.
there,
Brock's
to
pretty quick.
complete that.
But
So, yeah, we actually, the first year we had 2 teams, and we actually had Teams Maverick and Teams Goose. Then, like I gave everybody cheapo $2 aviators,
Yes.
you know. So, yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. Like that to me is everything right there.
One thing, like Val had mentioned, these are people, and then Jason, you said, anybody that's interested in doing a relay race, it may seem like you have to find a full team. Like, oh, I don't know if I can get 12 people together to do this, because, like, I know, like, I'm really the only one out of like super close friends that does running outside of the people that I already run with. So, there's still ways to join relay races. Either just say, hey, I'm looking for a team, or you get a team partially filled and you say, hey, we're looking for runners. So don't feel like be scared or worried about running with people that you've never met. Every year we have people on the teams that we've never met before. And by the time those 36 hours are over, you are best buds.
Yep.
So don't be shy about it just because you may not know people, because you will know them by the time it's over.
You get very close.
Maybe more than you want to know.
This is true.
People are leaving the group chat right after the finish line. I'm not doing this again. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much for your time and for your insight, not only into the Wild West relay, but the inner workings of a team. And that last statement, Brock, is awesome, because there are people who are going to want to be a part of a team who are sort of nervous or worried that they can't fit in or what happens there. But again, you're going 36 hours. A lot of life happens in 36 hours, and these people are there to support you and help you, and not put you down, because you're all working together to row the boat in the same direction. We'll go one by one. Last words on the way out. Eric, anything you want to say either about the Wild West relay, your shrimp cocktail, or your $5 word?
Oh man, why do you make me choose between 3 really good things? Listen, I didn't sign up for this because the Wild West relay because I wanted to run. I think I made that pretty clear before. It was more about the alignment of some of the things that I like about what we do to raise money for a good cause. I think everybody that runs eventually finds the mental health aspect of it at some point, right? A way to clear your head. What we do for the Matthews House helps a lot of kids that maybe have been dealt a bad set of cards in life, to give them resources to give themselves a better set of cards going forward. So if anybody on the call would like to donate, I am going to make a shameless plug to help us raise just a few more dollars for the Matthews House. And we'll make sure that we provide the information here after that, because selfishly we get a lot out of it, but it's for a great cause that helps a lot of folks that really benefit from it.
The link to donate will be in the notes for the podcast episode as well, and I'll make sure we share it in the stories when we post it on Instagram. Brock, last words on the way out.
Last words for me is that, like I said, this race got me into running. It's the reason why I do it, and it's a super fun. It's one of the favorite things to look forward to every year. And kind of touch on the whole thing about crossing the finish line. Finishing this race, I liken it to being pregnant, right? When you're pregnant, you're comfortable a lot of times. You're annoyed, you're disgruntled, you're not getting enough sleep, you're just hating life. And then as soon as the baby's born, you're like, oh, I can't wait to be pregnant again. I want to have another kid. It's like you immediately forget about all the pain and suffering, and all you remember is the good stuff. So that's one great thing about the Wild West.
Awesome. Marylee, final words on the way out.
Well, since I've ran this race pregnant 3 times, I can echo Brock's words on that. Apparently, it's something that you just keep doing. Maybe we just forget about the pain. I'm not sure what it is. But no, just words on the way out. For those of you who aren't sure, it's an amazing race. You start out with strangers or people you don't know very well, but they truly become family. Just a little backstory on myself. My husband and I, we actually had a full-term stillbirth in 2022. And this team came together and they rallied behind us. In fact, a couple of the runners on the team, I made it a mission in 2023 to run a 5K, local 5Ks every month, just to help with my mental health. And I had runners at every single one of those races. So it's not just that one weekend in August. It is a full-time family, full-time friendships that we create. So it's amazing.
That's awesome. And the final word from Val on the way out is the reason why she said she found her people is because of the light up dildo on the back of the runner in front of Eric.
Well, let's slide into my DMs after this. Let's become real friends.
You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for your time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having us.
If you managed to stick around for the entire hour, thank you so much. Time is a precious commodity, and the fact that you gifted it to us for the last 60 minutes means the world to me. If you're listening to this on a podcast platform, please do not forget to subscribe, rate, review the show. And if you're listening to it on YouTube, be sure to like it, share it, and comment as well there. Appreciate your time. Make sure you come back next week for the next Fireside Chat, which will be taking place on July 1st. I'll be talking to my friend Chris Walsh about how he got into running and why he sticks around with this sport. Appreciate your time. Have a great one. And don't forget the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network.